Hello, Star Wars nerds, and welcome to Unlimited Content, the podcast where two brothers talk about all of Star Wars film and TV in chronological order on the internet as an excuse to hang out more. We're your hosts, Sam and Jack, and this week we're talking about The Clone Wars, Season 2, Episode 17, Bounty Hunters. Sam!
Jack.
How are you?
Hello. I am, doing good. Feel like I'm finally starting to kick this head cold. So if I still sound a little stuffy, it's because I am.
You
But
have a head cold?
I've had a head cold for like 2 weeks, man.
No.
It's going, like, everyone in KC has, like, the same head cold. And it's just kind of like, snotty and gross, but I'm alive. It's fine. It's just
good.
annoying.
That's an upside. That's a positive.
Yeah, more annoying than anything. But
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm here. I'm alive. I'm awake, alert, alive, enthusiastic. Yep.
Cool.
Great. Jack, how are you? What's going on?
The weather is finally nice here in Texas.
Ooh. Nice.
So it's been we had that super long streak of like triple digit days a while back, and then it cooled off a little bit, and we were kind of in the 90s most of the time. And then this week we got some rain and we got a cold front, and so yesterday it was like highs in the 70s and clear blue skies and wispy clouds and
in
perfect
Austin,
weather.
Texas. That's amazing.
Yes, it was great. So it's finally feeling like, I mean, it doesn't necessarily feel like fall, but it's definitely doesn't feel like summer. So that's good.
That's what you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Reprieve from the Texas heat is all anyone can ask for.
Yes. So, this is our first episode recorded in October.
Ooh, it's spooky times.
It's spooky month.
'Tis. Oh yeah, it's your birthday month.
That's true. It is. That's what everybody knows it as.
Your birthday is fast approaching.
This is Jack Ford's birthday month. That's what people celebrate it for.
Yep.
Well, Sam, I'd love to continue talking, but as usual, we do have bills to pay.
Ka-ching, ka-ching. Who's paying our bills today?
Today's bills. This episode of Unlimited Content is brought to you by buttons.
Buttons?
You know, I love a good button. When you press a button, it's a good day. You know, like whenever you
I was wondering what kind of button we were talking about, like the shirt buttons or like keyboard
shirt buttons
buttons.
are good, but no, I mean like the kind of button that's like satisfying to press, like an elevator button when you're like, oh, I get to press an elevator button today.
Like when you just run out and you just smack it, and like, I gotta catch a button.
Yeah. There's also the the office where my therapist is. The elevator button is like it's like recessed into the wall, sort of. So I have to like stick my finger in. It
might bite you. Might like chomp down. On your finger.
No. Well, now I'm gonna be anxious every time I do that.
You're welcome.
Unlocked. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you to Buttons for sponsoring this episode.
Yes, thanks,
Sam, what have you been up to lately? It's been It's been 2 weeks since the last time we recorded. Weeks.
Yes. We took a week off last week for being sick, among other things. But yeah, no. In the last couple weeks, I've been watching Ahsoka, which we'll talk about later.
Yes.
And playing through Battlefront II in whatever little free time I have. Mm-hmm. And I beat it a lot faster than I remember beating it when I played it in high school. Mm-hmm. Which is like, one, kind of satisfying, but two is like, oh, this game was a lot harder for me when I was growing up, and like it just feels like there's less game. Mm-hmm. But I've been there's like other modes that I never really played through in growing up, so now I'm playing the Galactic Conquest part of the game, where you just kind of like are playing as the rebellion, going around trying just rooting out the Empire in as many systems as you can. And I've been playing a campaign on that for a few weeks now. It's been a lot of fun. But that's kind of all I've been really doing. I've been recovering from this head cold and playing a little. We went to the pumpkin patch yesterday.
Ooh.
Got some pumpkins on a hayride. There's a petting zoo.
Marion was there with you, I assume?
Oh, yeah.
That sounds delightful.
It was delightful. She had a blasty blast.
A blasty blast.
A blasty blast. We had frozen apple cider. Like apple cider slushies, and they have apple cider donuts.
Oh, that's
donuts. Good. They're so good. They're like little mini donuts. They're like about the size of Oreos, but donuts, and just still warm and covered in like brown sugar and cinnamon, and it's
good.
You dip them in caramel. It's good.
Yeah, brown sugar and cinnamon is a good flavor combo. You can't go wrong with brown sugar and cinnamon.
One of my faves for sure.
It's very good. Well, that's cool.
But that's kind of all I've really been up to. Been kind of boring. It's just busy times. How about you, dude? What have you been doing?
Well, as I said, the weather's been nice finally in Texas, here in Austin. And so yesterday was like the first day that it was just like super nice and clear and not raining. I'm like, I appreciated the rain. I love rain, but it was basically a perfect day yesterday. So I was like, hey, I was talking to my friends. I was like, does anybody want to go out and do something? And my friend Nate said he wanted to go visit the Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center here in Austin, which is it's kind of like, it's like an arboretum, except it's just all like local wildlife. I mean, local plants,
nice
local flora. Very pretty. There's like walking trails. There's like a big sort of playground area for kids, and it reminds me a lot of the Dallas Arboretum. But like, just it's all like native plants, which is cool. So me and Nate and a couple of my other friends all went together and spent a few hours there. The weather was perfect, and we walked around and went to all the different places and looked at plants and saw bumblebees and dragonflies and whatnot. And what was especially fun about that was so three of the four of us all took cameras with us, but we each took a different camera with us. So I took my my mirrorless digital camera that I have because I've been wanting to like actually learn how to do photography like fully manually without having used like any of the automatic settings on, basically. Because I finally got past the feeling of embarrassment that I have of being someone with a film degree who doesn't really know how to use cameras that much. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna finally learn how to do this, because I don't know, I didn't do actually a lot of like, I didn't take a lot of actual like film production like camera centric classes in college, and I was just and so like I remember graduating and be like, I kind of know what f-stop means, and anyway. But yeah, so I took my camera with me and had it on like full manual mode the whole time, like manual focus, manual aperture and shutter speed and stuff. And my friend Nate, who's a more seasoned photographer than I am, kind of showed me the ropes a little bit on like, here's the settings you need to change in order to like, adjust it so that you can take pictures of different lighting and whatnot. And then once I kind of like I figured out kind of like, these are the dials I need to switch, and these are the settings I need to deal with. It became like really fun, and it kind of felt like a game almost, because it's like, I have to, there's like like three different settings that you kind of have to dial in before you like take a picture. And it was like,
what do the settings do?
You know what? I don't feel confident enough to actually describe it to you in detail, but it's I mean, focus obviously is one. Shutter speed is another, which is just like how fast does the shutter open and close when you take a picture. So like how long is the photo exposed for? And then the last one is what was I going to say? Aperture. Which is how wide the opening that lets in light into the camera is open.
Nice, dude. You nailed it. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I know. I just
come on.
Yeah, I'm just nervous. I still have that residual embarrassment of like, I should know. I should be confident in this. I have a piece of paper on my wall that says I studied film for 4 years. And
Yeah.
Anyway,
I get it.
But yeah. So that was it. It was just like, once I kind of figured out that those are the settings I have to dial in, and figured out like what basically like what knobs on my camera controlled those things. It became like it felt like a game. It was really fun. It was like it's very like fun and satisfying. There's like a little bit of challenge to it. It's not as simple as like pointing and clicking to shoot and that's it. It's like it just adds another layer of like challenge to it, and a little extra layer of like creativity, because you can, when you're manually focusing on things and, adjusting how much light is coming into the camera, you can like be a little more like deliberate and creative with it. And it was just really fun. I had a lot more fun taking pictures yesterday than I have before. It was really fun.
Nice.
yeah, so that was super fun, and I'm looking forward to doing more photography stuff because I feel like yesterday was enough practice that I like am confident and also excited to like try again and like go to a different sort of location and a different like weather, like lighting conditions, and try to figure things out. It's fun. So so I brought my camera and did that. I took like I think 240 or so pictures.
Sweet.
And then posted like I think I got like probably 25 that I thought turned out well, and then I posted like 10 of those on Instagram. So
nice.
Yeah, that was fun. And then my friend Nate brought his like vintage 1970s Nikon film camera with him and took photos with that. And then my friend Danny, who is a video game geek after my own heart, and a collector of vintage and retro video game stuff, brought with him a Game Boy and a Game Boy camera. And
no
he
way.
took pictures with that. So,
do you have like the receipt printer too that like you can print off the? He
has one. He has a Game Boy printer at home, but he doesn't have like the thermal paper for it. But I think he just ordered some so we can like print them out. But
that's so cool.
Yes,
I love that.
It's awesome. It was interesting. Like there were 3 different like modes of photography happening all the time while we were there, and like and it was we're all like kind of working within different limitations, and it's just cool. It was a cool fun experience, and that was delightful to get to kind of see which by the way, I did not know this. The Game Boy camera it flips around so you can take selfies with it.
What?
Yeah,
I didn't know
it rotates.
That.
So it's like the first selfie camera.
That's so cool.
Yeah, at least the first one I know of. That's super cool. Yeah. But yeah, so that was what I did for the most part yesterday. Yeah, did that, and then went to have lunch at a cafe on South Congress with them and another friend, and then came home and napped for a bit, and then did some working on editing the most recent episode of the podcast, and yesterday was a good day. And then today was kind of a little more chill, but that's what I've been up to past couple days. Another thing I want to talk about, I made a couple of exciting purchases in the past couple weeks. Yes. The first one is I have a new robot friend. Sam knows about this. But so there's a Lego set that I've been wanting for a while, and it was on sale at Target, and also Target was having like a big like store-wide sale thing this past week, where you could like get, and I had like a code for like 15% off your entire purchase kind of thing, and then my other like the 5% off I get for having the red card. So just kind of stacking things on top of each other, and then in addition to that, there was a deal where if you buy $50 or more worth of Legos, you get a $10 gift card. So it was just like it was the perfect confluence of events for me to like finally make the splurge and get this thing. Yeah. And it is the Lego set of BD1, who is a little droid guy from the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor video games. He's delightful. He's listeners, for those of you that don't know, he basically looks like a little like wacky pair of binoculars with antennas and like the little stick legs. And he's delightful and adorable, and he helps your character in the game. Like he like holds your health stim packs that you heal with, and he like hacks things for you, and he walks around and is adorable. So I bought that and then spent a few nights putting that together. That was super fun. I love putting together Lego stuff, but this is just like such a cool. This one in particular is really cool because it's like it's him like to scale. It's like the actual like 1-to-1 size he would be in like in real life, and so it's like nice and detailed. And I have him here with me. Listeners, you can't see, but Sam, here he is.
I love it. That's like bigger than I thought it would be.
Yeah, he's delightful. He's great. I love him.
And I love his head. His head kind of bobbles back and forth. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, you can like tilt it up and down a little bit, kind of,
nice.
And then his like legs go up and down like that, and then
there you go.
And then there's like a little compartment in the side here where you can get like those are the stims that you use in the game to like heal yourself.
That's where you hide the drugs.
Exactly. Yes, that's where you hide the Star Wars drugs. That's where the death sticks go.
You want to buy some death sticks?
It is just the antennas. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, this is not very interesting for you listeners because you can't see this, but it's delightful and I love him and I'm very happy with this. It was a very fun build and it's just I'm makes me happy every time I see it on my shelf. So
there are a few things that are more fun and satisfying and delightful than Star Wars Legos.
Yes, definitely.
So good.
Yeah, I still want to get the ghost at some point. That's it. Yeah. But this is an opportunity I couldn't pass up. You know.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I wanted to talk about that I got, my other purchase of these past couple weeks was I've been wanting to upgrade my keyboard, my desktop computer keyboard. 'Cause I've been using like a pretty cheap, like generic, like gaming keyboard for a while. With like membrane switches, which is kind of like the standard cheap sort of like any keyboard that comes with a computer or that you buy it at Walmart or whatever is going to have membrane switches, which they're like rubber dome, like, so they're kind of squishy. But I finally made the upgrade to a mechanical keyboard, which is it's a whole world of hobbyists with very particular opinions, and it's super interesting and fun, and like just kind of, I've been doing a lot of like looking into this for the past few years, and I've just never like taken the splurge to like, because I've never felt like I needed one. But then recently I was just like, I don't like my keyboard very much, and I was like, and I like typed on some friends of mine have mechanical keyboards, and I was like trying out theirs, and I was like, oh, this is so much nicer than anything I have. And so I decided to make an investment and finally get a keyboard that I can use, and then it's also like it's hot swappable, so I can like switch out the different, I can change the keycaps, but I can also change the switches themselves if I want, and like get new switches, and
so you can constantly like replace and repair your keyboard as
basically yeah. And it's the keyboard that I got it's like a very solid, strong, like it's gonna last a long time kind of thing. So I'm very happy and satisfied with that. One of the things that's cool about mechanical keyboards as a hobby is that you can customize it and try out different things, and it's definitely one of those hobbies that can get expensive very quickly. But like I'm satisfied with what I have for now, but I like the fact that in the future, if I wanted to, I could, change out the switches or get new keycaps or whatever. And it's very good. So I love this keyboard. I'll do some typing for you real quick so you can hear what it sounds like. Here, I'll try and put my microphone towards the keyboard real quick, because part of what's great about mechanical keyboards is that there's the satisfying sounds they make.
The nice clicky clackies.
Yes, clicky clackies. Hold on. All right, that's approximately towards where yeah. So can you hear it at all?
No.
Okay, well, cool. Discord's probably filtering it out. It might be showing up on my recording, but it's, I don't know.
Oh, I hear that. That's cool. Barely. Yeah, anyway. I think Discord's definitely filtering this out.
Yeah, well, anyway, that was was something.
It'll show up on the Audacity file, so that'll be fine. All right. I'll be not responding to a thing that all of you guys can hear.
Whoa, wow, amazing. Yeah. Sounds so good.
That's the best sounding thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, anyway. That was a little weird tangent. Anyway, other thing is, I want to show you. I'm going to lift it up so Sam can see it. Yes. Which again, so many visual components that
I'll describe it. Don't worry.
First of all, this keyboard is shockingly heavy. It's 5 pounds. What? It weighs 5. It's like fully metal.
I don't think my computer weighs 5 pounds.
So here it is.
Ooh,
it's very nice.
I like it. Ooh, it's got so it's like black, like a matte black, and it's got the keys themselves are all very like cool and rounded-ish. I mean, they're square, but like rounded. And they're very tall keys, and they're kind of like the gray of like an NES, like it's like a Nintendo Entertainment System. Yeah. And then the dark gray of like the stripes of an NES. And is it like an NES theme? Because like it's got the red, the black, and the gray.
Yeah, that's all funny. You should say that because the what initially got me down this most recent tangent of like thinking that maybe I wanted a mechanical keyboard is there's a company that I've talked about on this show before called 8-Bit Do that makes game controllers. They make very good like third-party video game controllers for like mostly for like Switch, but also some for PC and stuff. But they just recently released a mechanical keyboard it is NES themed. It is actually an NES keyboard.
I think I saw that, or you sent it to me or something. But yeah,
one of those. Yeah, but yeah, it's like it looks super cool and great. There were a few reasons why I decided not to go for that one in particular, but I thought it was just super cool, and then that sent me down the rabbit hole of what kind of keyboard do I want. So I got this one, and it's very cool. It's very heavy and solid. The whole like the chassis is like full metal, and the switches for those. If anybody listening is interested or knows what the heck I'm talking about, the switches are Keychron banana switches, which are supposed to like imitate the feel of panda switches.
None of that makes any sense to me. But
I know, I'm sure it's bonkers. It's not sense.
But you're excited about it, and that makes me excited about it.
Yes, yeah. The keyboard I got is the Keychron Q3 Pro Special Edition.
Ooh.
The Special Edition is it basically means it has the big knob on it, which I want. That was one of the main things I wanted with the keyboard is I wanted a big knob because I like having a volume knob. It's a very big like metal knob, and you can click it in to like pause and play, and it's fun and satisfying. It ratchets.
That's cool. It's like bigger than a quarter. It's like silver dollar size. Like
it's big.
It's nice.
It's very good. But yeah, so I love this, and it's got USB-C wired, but you can also do Bluetooth wireless, which is nice.
That's nice.
And it's got RGB, so it can be all glowy and stuff. And I would show you that, but it would need to be like plugged in. Actually, no, I guess I can turn on the Bluetooth and show you because it'll be in wireless mode. Hold on, 1 second. Is it? Yeah. Okay. So like, again, more visuals that the listeners won't. But anyway,
yes,
I've got it set to a setting where like if I press a key, it flashes kind of around it.
It looks like you're when you type, it looks like lightning strikes underneath the keyboard, like just kind of like
kind of
like lightning in the clouds kind of thing, like just like it's cool.
Yes, and of course there's a ton of different settings you can set it to. So
it's just rainbowed on me. It's just one bloop. You
can have it go all pinwheely and rainbowy.
It's you're gonna hypnotize me with this thing.
Yes. Are you getting sleepy, Sam? Oh no! The podcast is over. Sam, wake up. But yeah. So anyway, that's been kind of my most recent obsession. I'm very happy with this keyboard, and,
as you should be. It's so cool.
Yes. So I'm gonna put this back down, and yeah. So those are the things that I've been up to. Those are the things that have been most exciting to me in the last couple weeks, other than Ahsoka, which did you want to talk about that?
I do. I need to plug my laptop in. I do want to talk about it. I need to plug my laptop in.
All right. Brief intermission.
This isn't going as planned. Nothing to see here.
But we're good now. All is well.
Yay. Cool. Right. Did you want to talk about the merch stuff?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You put it in your updates list, which is why
I did. Yeah. So there's the last episode, the episode that was released 2 days ago. Was it 2 days ago? Maybe 3 days ago.
It was like 3 days ago, I think.
Okay, I listened to it 2 days ago because you released it like after midnight when I was already in bed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I listened to it 2 days ago, but it was the one where we briefly talked about like joking around about selling merch. Like, you had just made a bunch of fun designs. Again, we're talking about visual things in an audio medium. We're doing great. But you had talked about, like, various different designs of, like, the chronological order and, like, the long time ago font. Or, like, just, like, a whole slew of things. And that episode just released. And I, like, posted it on social media. I sent it to friends who, like, we shouted out in that episode, and one of those friends, her name's Kara. She's one of my wife's bridesmaids. She's very cool. We like her a lot. She texted me like 30 minutes before we started recording. It's like, hey, like, no joke, if you guys sell t-shirts, I will buy every single one. And I'm like, oh, okay, bet, let's do it. Like, so, and then I texted Jack that. It's like, actually, I've already got the store like halfway set up. So,
Yeah.
Jack, you want to tell me about this? What's going on?
So I like a little while back, I did some research on like, what are the different, websites that you can set up like print on demand stores for and stuff. And I'm trying to remember which one I actually ended up going with. Anyway, point is, I'm not. The point is that I have something like I have an account made and I started like looking at different products and stuff. And I'm just trying to like, I think what we'll have to do is like order put up designs, but like order samples for ourselves first and like figure out, how do they look okay and stuff. Cause I still want it to be good and like I want them to look nice. But yeah, I honestly, I think this will be fun. Like just for the sake of having incredibly niche merchandise for our podcast.
Or stickers. Stickers sell well. I know that.
Ooh.
Everybody likes stickers. It's much more accessible for people to buy. But also like you can put it on your car and it's like advertising.
Mm-hmm.
So
indeed.
Hey.
Yeah. So that's cool. I guess we'll go forward to that because I've kind of been wanting to because it's just I like those designs and I'd like them to be out in the world.
Oh yeah.
I think it would be cool to have those on a shirt. Yeah. So don't know how long it'll take for us to kind of figure all that stuff out, but we will tell you, listeners, as soon as that's a thing that's up that you can buy. Yeah. And I hope that all 12 of you buy a shirt.
Yeah. We're probably not going to make any profit on any of this, but that's okay. We don't care.
Yeah, it's for fun.
Yeah.
It's as an excuse to hang out more.
Yep.
As the spiel says.
As the spiel says.
As it will say on one of our shirts.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Jack.
Yes.
Now that we've got our updates out of the way.
Uh-huh.
There have been 2 episodes of things that we have not discussed yet.
Yes.
Would you like to discuss them?
Yes, let's do it. Yeah. So the last 2 episodes of Ahsoka came out.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. What was your favorite part? Let's just start there.
Man. I think it's a good question. I loved the Ahsoka versus Morgan Elsbeth battle.
That was cool.
With the sword of Talzin and versus Ahsoka with her lightsabers. Yeah. That was cool.
And then versus Ahsoka with her lightsaber. Oops.
Oh right, yeah. She actually managed to break one of Ahsoka's lightsabers, which is impressive.
Yeah.
Like it was a close battle.
I hope that Ahsoka got at least the pieces of that lightsaber back before they destroyed that whole
tower.
tower. Because I hope she has that kyber crystal,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I know Huyang's got more kyber crystals.
I'm sure. Yeah. He sneezes and a kyber crystal comes out his nose.
Yeah, and he still has his whole workshop on the
crashed ship.
On the crashed ship. It's still there.
Yeah.
So they can still make lightsabers, and we saw Ezra just basically just made. Mm-hmm. He made Kanan's lightsaber just out of nowhere.
I mean, basically, yeah. It's like it looks like a cross between Ezra's old lightsaber, but with the emitter, the end bit of Kanan's, which is cool. Mm-hmm. I loved that moment where we got to see Ezra build his own lightsaber, and then he got he has a lightsaber again. Although in the episode before the sequence where Ezra's I don't need a lightsaber, I can use the Force, and then he fights just using the Force, and it was super cool. That was a cool sequence too. I thought so many cool moments. I thought that the part where they're approaching the tower and trying to chase after Thrawn before he leaves, and Thrawn just rains hellfire down on them from the Star Destroyer, blasting them, and they're dodging around on their dog things, and yes. Dodging lasers, and then they use the Force to open the door and they get in, and that whole sequence is super cool because then they fight a bunch of stormtroopers, and then the stormtroopers are zombies.
Yeah, which they've been zombies the whole time apparently, but now they're reanimated again zombies.
Mm-hmm. Reanimated.
It's scary. It was creepy. It was genuinely kind of creepy. Like,
yeah, no, that whole sequence is really cool. Like the like when they first go in there and they fight, because you get to see Ezra and Ahsoka and Sabine all like fighting in their own ways and just taking like mowing down this whole room full of stormtroopers like very skillfully, and it was just like a cool, well choreographed sequence. And then they start walking away, and then the stormtroopers stand up again, and they're like, "Oh no!" and they kind of have to run. And they're like, anyway, so yeah, that whole sequence is cool. I loved the moment when Sabine like pushes Ezra through the air to get him onto the ship. Yeah, on the Star Destroyer. That was super cool.
That was amazing. Yeah, what do you think? Because I have thoughts, but like I want to know what your thoughts on like how, like, what was it that pushed Sabine over the edge to allow her to be able to like channel the Force like that?
Yeah, I've been like reading some people's thoughts online, like reading reviews and stuff, and kind of yeah, I don't know. I feel like generally I really liked these episodes, and I really liked this show. I think there are some places in which I felt like they could have used some more time, like a couple more episodes for like to kind of expand on some character development, or like just kind of get a little further with things. And some of the things kind of felt like rushed or condensed in some ways, and that was one of the things I felt like was a little underbaked was like Sabine's sort of arc. Because I feel like we didn't necessarily get a clear indication of like what is it that actually pushed her to be able to like use the Force again, because like when we first see her use the Force like for real, like in effective ways, when she like picks up her lightsaber because she's about to die, which is like I mean like that makes sense, that like in a moment of like extreme strife and she's like desperate and she's like reaches out to the Force, and then it works. But like that's also like not super like character relevant in terms of like her arc throughout this show, like there's no like I feel like it's kind of been about like her learning to believe that she can use the Force and kind of have the right motivation for it. And I feel like survival is just not a very interesting motivation, I guess.
Sure. I am going to push back a little bit on that. Just because I think you got to take it like a scene before that, I think, because I thought it was super cool, like when they're getting chased by the undead stormtroopers, like they're like the three of them are using lightsabers, and like Sabine, like it seems like Sabine's trying to be the kind of Jedi that she thinks she's supposed to be, and Ezra like goes forward and starts mowing him down. Ahsoka is kind of holding back, or like kind of like taking the back and like deflecting them and kind of protecting Sabine while she's like still trying to figure out how to use her lightsaber and stuff, and like use it effectively to like deflect bullets and whatnot. And then at one point, like Ahsoka is just like, Sabine, like, do your thing, and she like clips her lightsaber back on her belt, gets her guns out, and starts shooting, and that's when she's really effective. I think it's the fact that her master like said, Sabine, be yourself. Like that's the kind of Jedi you need to be, is you. And I think that kind of like started to open the floodgates of like allowing her to be herself, and not this idea of what it like, not one, this like vengeful, like wanting to use the Force to like avenge her family, like not want to use the Force in that way, but also not trying to cram herself into the mold she thinks she needs to be crammed into. Because like I think the whole like takeaway from Ahsoka season 1 is like when Huyang says, you come from a very long line of non-traditional Jedi. Like Sabine just had to figure out what kind of non-traditional Jedi she was, and it was like she is the first Mandalorian Jedi since like the one who made the Darksaber. Like in Millennium, she's the first Mandalorian. So like obviously the fact that like how the Jedi-ness kind of like comes out in her is going to be very different than how it comes out in Ahsoka, or how it comes out in Ezra, or like just any other, like it's going to be very different than any Jedi we've seen before. So I think that kind of started to like open her up to like, oh, I don't need to be something I'm not. And I think that was kind of like where she started like maybe this is for me. Maybe I can do this. And like in that moment of desperation, I'm like, hell, I'm going for it. I'm just like, because it's this or die. And she went for it. And that kind of desperation was like, oh no, I do have what it takes. I can do this. Like I am the kind of Jedi. Like I am a Jedi. I do have this connection with the Force. That like I at first doubted. And once she realized that she had that at her disposal, it's like the training wheels are off, the braces were off. She was like off to the races. And so I think it made perfect sense that she was able to like push Ezra up onto the ship just because like as soon as she knows that she can do something, she's always like in it 110%. But like if she's not confident she can't do it, she's not going to do it. And so once she was like, oh no, I can do this, it's like, okay, then I really can do this. You know, that was kind of how I took that kind of tail end of that. I don't know if that made any sense.
No, that totally makes sense. I really like that interpretation. I think it's it's not quite how I saw it the first time, but like looking back, I definitely appreciate it more now that you've described it that way. I still think that like in general, this show could have used some more time.
Agreed.
You know, like
100%.
Like, give it a few. Like I think they're just like I would have liked to see more of that and more kind of maybe explicit kind of talking about the kind of that character arc that a little more showing more of like more definitively like this is how and why Sabine has made this transformation but I do really like that idea to your interpretation. I like that a lot.
Cool. I'm glad.
Yeah, I think what
I said I'm glad. Cool.
Yes.
Nice.
No. Yeah, you turned me around definitely.
Yes.
I like that. I think Thrawn. I love Lars Mikkelsen as Thrawn. I thought he was great.
Absolutely.
And I think that for the amount of time that they had in this show, I thought they did at least I personally thought they did a really good job of establishing Thrawn as a character and how like smart and cunning and like trying to be 2 steps ahead at all times he is. And I know we had some conversations on Discord with Cal, who is much more familiar with Thrawn from the books and has read bajillions of Star Wars books, including all of the Thrawn books, both canon and not. He definitely had some like opinions about like the way that Dave Filoni tends to present Thrawn as being sort of more kind of generically villainous versus in the books where he's a little more of a complex character. I can't speak to that in any way because I haven't read the books, but like
sure.
I've
read one of the Thrawn books, and he definitely is like more of a chess player than a villain in the books. That's my experience of him. I love what Dave Filoni's done with Thrawn, but like, but yeah, no, it's not. I mean, Dave Filoni also like doesn't like the Star Wars books, I guess. Because
the whole thing with E.K. Johnson's Ahsoka and that kind of,
I'm very salty about that.
I know you are.
Yeah. So yeah, he definitely like. I think because the books I feel like are written for maybe a more like an older audience, not necessarily more mature, but like older, like who can like, and there's more opportunity to kind of flesh things out and like get into the weeds of what's going on. Whereas Dave Filoni writes for 22-minute kids shows, So I think it might just be the medium. But
no, that makes sense. There's that, and but yeah, like overall, I really liked the last couple episodes. I love that that Ezra got. I mean, like Thrawn made his way back to the main galaxy, which is unfortunate, but we kind of knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But Ezra also did, which was great, and Ezra got to meet Hera. I think one of them, actually, that is another, I think maybe my biggest criticism of the show. Again, I love this show overall. I thought it was great. One of the things that I think frustrated me the most, and I think this isn't exclusive to Ahsoka, I think this happens a lot in a lot of the live action Star Wars stuff. There's just like, there's not enough like people feeling and expressing strong emotions in moments where I think they should. So like,
sure.
I want there to be more like there's rarely ever like disagreements, like strong vocal disagreements between main characters. And then the other thing is that there's not enough like there were multiple moments like when Sabine and Ezra finally meet up for the first time.
Yeah, that
and
was
then
weird.
And then when Ezra and Hera meet for the first time, in the show, like both of those moments were like very subdued and like it felt very like kind of flat. And I would expect, because these are people that are like our family to each other in a very real way, and after not seeing each other for years and now finally seeing each other for the first time in forever, I would expect them to run towards each other and embrace and hug and like be excited and like emotional, and that just doesn't happen. And I think that's a problem with a lot of modern Star Wars. I feel like, especially like in the live action stuff, I feel like the like Rebels itself had less of a problem with that, but like I feel like there's this reticence in the live action Star Wars stuff to like sort of not get too like emotional, I guess. At least when on like a character to character personal level.
It like never gets above a 6 and never gets below like a 3. Like, it's just very in the middle emotion wise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I there were definitely moments that I felt like could have been a lot more cathartic and satisfying and like impactful if they had like allowed these characters to like express what I assume they would be feeling in the moment. Yeah. Because like when Ezra shows up on the New Republic ship, which by the way, like I get why they did it with him walking in on the stormtrooper armor, but also like, come on, Ezra, you're gonna get yourself killed.
Yeah, you couldn't have like changed clothes.
Yeah, or even just taken off the helmet before you left the ship.
Right, like why are you still wearing like smelly zombie stormtrooper armor? Like, yeah, it I'm sure you had a substantial amount of time flying from Dathomir to wherever you found Hera.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
You couldn't have put it on autopilot for like 20 minutes, change clothes, take a shower, like power nap. I don't know. Come on.
Yeah. But so that scene just like, he shows up and he takes off the helmet and well, actually, I like the fact that at first Chopper goes up to him and like basically recognizes who it is before anybody else does, and that I thought was really sweet. I thought
that's kind of cool.
That was a nice moment. But then like, he takes off the helmet and Hera's just like, Ezra? And Ezra's just like, hey, Hera. And then it's just like a wide shot of them looking at each other from far away. And then it cuts to the next scene. It's like, I want to see them run towards each other and give each other a hug. Like, she's the closest thing that Ezra has to a mom, basically. Like, like, why are you not, like, love each other? Be humans with emotions, or human and Twi'lek with emotions.
Yeah.
But
I get that you're both come from families of freedom fighters, but like, I feel like those are like some of the most like emotionally driven people on the planet, or like in the galaxy.
Yeah,
or like very passionate freedom fighter kind of people. Like his parents started the rebellion on Lothal, and she's Cham Syndulla's daughter. Like, come on,
yeah, definitely.
They're not emotional, that's for sure.
Definitely, yeah. So there were just a few moments like that I wish were kind of a little more keyed up and more like emotional and impactful in that way. I want to name a few like moments that I thought were really cool though, or that like were exciting to me. One is our first time seeing Dathomir in live action.
Yeah,
I mean, from space, like we saw the planet, we didn't see the surface or anything, but still, it's like, we got our first Night Sister in live action and our first view of Dathomir in live action in the show, which was cool.
Do we think that part of the reason they went back to Dathomir with all of those like coffin shaped crates is that they're gonna like resurrect a Night Sister army?
I think
that's kind of the heavy implication, right?
That's the prevailing theory. That makes sense to me. That like, because they like, I feel like if it was just like it was like regular cargo or something, they wouldn't all look exactly that way. Like coffin size.
They wouldn't actively make them look like coffins.
Yeah, because like there's like, if you look at even like an Andor, the kind of the cargo that they load on the ships, it's like all stuff that looks different. It's like big like square boxes and stuff.
Yeah, it's all
and
crates looking
and
things. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas these are like, yeah, they look like coffins.
These are body sized.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I would guess that that's I think the best theory we have right now is those are probably either like dead Night Sisters from like my guess is that they're either I think they're probably not stormtroopers because I think they probably already resurrected all the stormtroopers that they could. But I think it's probably like the bodies of like ancient Night Sisters who were buried here on the home world of the Night Sisters, and they like dug them up and put them in coffins and are bringing them back to Dathomir to like resurrect them and like rebirth Dathomir as a planet and the Night Sisters as a group, you know, and then presumably Thrawn will use them to do big evil things. You know?
Yes, as he is wont to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another cool moment was 3PO showed up. We got C-3PO.
Yeah,
in this
what the
show.
heck?
Yeah, just out of nowhere, C-3PO comes in as like a representative of Leia. Yeah, and that was great. That whole scene.
And also, that's totally something Leia would do. There's like not even deign to like give this like the time of day. Like this one senator's like a thorn in everybody's side. Is like, this guy is a butthole.
Shut up, Ziono.
Yeah, he's like, you are not worth my time. I'll send 3PO.
Yeah.
Yeah, which no red arm yet. Wonder when he gets that.
Nope. Yeah. Well, I mean, if he had the red arm, we wouldn't be able to recognize him.
That's true. Would have asked, who are you again? Oh, it's 3PO. I didn't recognize you because of the red arm.
Because of the red arm. Still the best joke from the sequel trilogy. I love it.
The best thing to come out of the sequel trilogy. By a landslide. Yeah. There was another thing I want to talk about. Oh gosh. What was it? So where do you think we're going from here? Like, what happens next?
That's it. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
So obviously we're gonna get like Night Sister Army or whatever that winds up being, and Thrawn shows up, and I didn't expect Thrawn to be so like gung ho for the Empire. Like, because
it's a little,
because he's like very much like the Empire is a means to an end.
Yeah,
for him.
So I'm wondering like how much of that is like an actual dedication to the Empire, and how much of that is that's the kind of avenue he's choosing to like vocalize to like get people on his side. He'd be like, yeah, we're gonna bring the Empire back, but he doesn't actually care that it's the Empire. He just wants a way into power. Yeah, you know, I don't know.
That makes sense to me. It's just and you never get to see Thrawn's hand until he plays it. So I mean, there's that.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. So there's that, and then Sabine and Huyang and Ahsoka are still on Peridia, and so are Baylan and Shin.
Yes. Which, by the way, the other gigantic major reveal of this is during like the kind of epilogue sequence of the episode, Baylan is looking out across the landscape of Peridia, looking at something in the distance that's shiny on a mountain, and then it pulls back and we see that he's standing on a giant statue of the father next to giant statues of the son and daughter. So like this is clearly like
and the daughter statue is destroyed.
Yes, very clearly like linked to the like
Mortis.
Mortis stuff's happening, which is super cool. And like now we know a little bit more about like, or at least we have a better idea of what maybe Baylan is like his ultimate goals are. Which, I mean, I think the prevailing theory, or at least I think that probably the most like obvious or logical explanation would be that Baylan wants to basically become the next like father or something. Like he wants to like, you know, take the place of, because like they're all dead, like assuming that the Mortis arc is canon, you know,
which it is.
The father, the daughter, and the son are all dead, and Baylan wants to like, you talked about like wanting to end the cycle of violence and or the cycle, you know, the cycle of conflict basically. And I guess what better way to do that than to be the one in control of the Force, I guess. You know, like whatever that means.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of big question marks there, but it's a very exciting question mark. You know,
It is. So with Ray Stevenson having passed away,
yeah.
what happens there? Like, does
I feel like,
is it off-screen death? Like, or
no, I mean, as much as it pains me, like, I think like given how much they've like set up for this character to like be doing something, and you know the big cliffhanger they ended on this, like either they abandon that plot line or they recast him. I don't think they can just kill him off screen. I don't think that's, you know, which I don't want them to have to recast him because he was so good in this role. Like, you know, he like did so much with so little screen time, you know, just a very commanding presence, and like what a cool, interesting character that we didn't really get to know as well as I had hoped we would, you know. I don't know. My only guess is either they will kind of quietly abandon that arc, which I doubt what will happen, because I feel like they're really like
it's
setting
huge.
up for that. You know, it's a huge deal, you know. And you know, if they don't do, you know, I think they'll have to recast him. At least that's my guess.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, obviously.
It is.
And then Shin is like, I guess, like joined up with the Raiders or something on Peridia. That wasn't super clear, but like, definitely want to see more of her, just to know what happens with her. Yeah, I
think other than like Baylan and Shin, I think were definitely the most interesting characters in this whole show. Like anytime they're on screen, it's like, what is going on? They're so fascinating. I just want to know more.
Definitely the most interesting characters, and also the characters that we kind of ended up learning the least about, you know?
Yeah.
Which is part of what made them interesting, is because they were so mysterious. But like, I don't know. My guess is that whatever the next chapter of the story is, whether it's an Ahsoka season 2 or a movie or another series or something, I think that when next we pick up with these characters, I think Shin is going to meet up with and eventually kind of join forces in some way with Ahsoka and Sabine, and like they're all going to try and get off the planet together. I
would be surprised if that didn't happen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious as to how they'll get off the planet. My only theory is, I think there are two main options, or I guess three. One is that somehow Ezra is able to like lead the New Republic back to them, but like that seems very difficult to like you know, to get to that other galaxy, because most, you know, like hyperspace drives, like they don't have the capabilities to go that far, which is why they had to build the giant hyperspace ring, and you know, so that's option one. Option two is that they somehow use the Purrgil to get back again, which I feel like the Purrgil were kind of a one-way thing, because they talked about Peridia being like the final resting place of the Purrgil, and this being like kind of their graveyard. And so I feel like it's sort of a one-way trip for the Purrgil, so I don't think that's going to happen. Right. The last option I would think is like them using the World Between Worlds to get back.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but obviously like Peridia is obviously super force charged, so I would imagine there's some way to access it. Yeah,
actually, that's a good point. Like, the Mortis. If the thing that that Baylan was looking at in the distance is presumably the Mortis Temple or whatever, that like maybe that's like a very powerful place in the Force where they can enter the World Between Worlds more easily or something, and maybe that's what it'll be about. That'd be cool. The like them using the World Between Worlds to get somewhere. I initially, before they were like, let's ask the Purrgil to help us get there, I thought that Ahsoka was going to use the World Between Worlds to get to Peridia.
So did I.
That was my initial thought. But the Purrgil thing was cooler.
It was so much cooler.
It was so cool. I loved it.
Yeah. It was much less like Deus Ex Machina, kind of like just easy. Yeah. It was much less simple fix.
It was less cheat codey.
Yeah. Oh yeah. World Between Worlds is going to feel like a cheat codey thing unless like they exhaust all their options first or something. Yeah. Or they just kind of like, they're like, well, we're just going to keep training, and then they feel a tug in the Force to go to the Mortis Temple on Peridia and find Baylan, and there's a big showdown there, and they all like get time warped over to the main galaxy. I don't know. Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
So many questions, so many things kind of like left unanswered. But like, I feel like overall, I feel like this series was like, it gave us the bulk of what we needed to get from this particular season. Like we had Ahsoka's character arc from, being kind of Ahsoka the Gray to Ahsoka the White, essentially, and kind of her learning to like finishing her training with Anakin and learning to figure out what being a Jedi means to her now, and figuring out how to embrace the good of her master while acknowledging that she doesn't have to be, just because he fell doesn't mean that she needs to. Yeah. And she can kind of forge her own path and take the good and leave the rest. And also, of course, Sabine and her arc, and learning to use the Force and embrace the idea that she can be a Jedi, and that, again, her path is her own to make, and she can write her own story and be whatever kind of Jedi she needs to be. And of course Ezra got back, and Thrawn also got back. So it's like a lot of this show was setting up for future things, but I think there was enough in here that felt like a satisfying conclusion for me, at least, that it felt like a good, like, self-contained show in a lot of ways.
Right. I agree.
I feel like this is, I'm curious as to what the response is among people who are less familiar with it, who haven't seen the Clone Wars or Rebels or anything, because this is such a, like, more than any other like Star Wars live action thing, this like depends on knowledge of, or at least is like very much helped by having knowledge of the animated stuff, Yeah. And so like, because like,
I feel like you could definitely follow along.
Oh yeah.
You can never say any of that, but like, there's, especially because they played some of those like bigger moments super flat, like, there's no way to know like how big of a deal all this happening is.
Yeah, it's like, if you don't know the relationship between Hera and Ezra before, it's like, if they like, when Ezra shows up and like they just kind of look at each other and don't like embrace or anything, you don't get a sense of like, oh, these people are really important to each other. It's just like I guess he's back. I don't know what's this relationship like.
Yeah.
And so that's a little frustrating, but
yep.
I think that like there's some, especially like end of series and end of season like reveals, like the stuff with the Mortis statues, like that is something that anybody that's seen the Clone Wars knows about the Mortis arc, is like, oh my god, this is such a, like, it's a big reveal for us. It's like a super cool moment, but for anybody who doesn't know what those things are, it's kind of like what is that? Like,
yeah,
I have to go Google what that means, because clearly that means something that I don't understand. Like, yeah, I don't know. This was like, in a lot of ways, very like almost like fan servicey sort of show. Like it was very much made for, like, I thought it was a great show, but it was like, it was very much made for people who are invested in the Clone Wars and Rebels, like, who are kind of already invested in all of like the past animated Filoni stuff, and which I think they did a pretty good job of like of introducing all the basics that they needed to in order to get like newcomers on board and understand who these characters are, and like,
right,
but like there's clearly not as much of an impact, I wouldn't think, for those people if you like, you don't already have this attachment to these characters like we do,
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, and we don't have a lot of stuff like on the docket, like for like things that are coming out. Like there's like, oh yeah, there's probably going to be another season of Mando or something. There's going to be like I'm looking at this article in IGN about things that like are supposedly coming out. So like we got Skeleton Crew, which I kind of want to talk about that briefly in a minute. Like that's coming out, but I don't know when that's taking place, or like in the timeline, or why I should care about it. Because let's just talk about it now. I am not excited about Skeleton Crew, and I think it's just because like Jude Law's in it.
You don't like Jude Law?
Well, it's not that I don't like Jude Law. Like, Jude Law's a great actor, but whenever Star Wars brings in like a big name, It just doesn't feel like Star Wars. It's kind of like whenever you see Dwayne The Rock Johnson in anything, it's like, oh, it's just Dwayne The Rock Johnson who happens to be in this movie. Like, it's not like that's not a character in the movie. That's Dwayne The Rock Johnson playing a character in a movie. Like, and like Star Wars is always great when there's like hardly known actors in Star Wars. It's just like, it's like that way I can just like, oh, that's that character. Like,
I feel like Rosario Dawson is a well-known enough actor. Like, she's a big deal.
Sure,
like,
but like she's in enough like makeup and stuff that's like, it's so, you know, like
okay,
she's orange and with
she is
blue
orange.
tentacles on her head.
It's
like,
true.
You know, like I don't know, but I feel like because like all I know about Skeleton Crew is it's like there's gonna be a bunch of kids and Jude Law. And
like, I mean,
that's like all they're telling anybody about. It's like a bunch of kids, Jude Law, and it's gonna be like an '80s like E.T. Amblin kind of thing.
Yeah,
like
to me, like I like like that gets me excited. Just that concept gets me excited personally. But that's like, you know, I understand if that's not your cup of tea. You know, like
like I want to be excited about it because I want to be excited about all things Star Wars. But that's just like I don't see what that does for Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I hate that, like, this is what I'm thinking about and this is how I feel, but this is how I feel.
But it's how you feel. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I want to be excited about this, but, like, I have not seen anything that makes me excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And it's similar, and I have similar feelings to, like, the Taika Waititi, like, Star Wars movie, if that's still a thing. Just because, like, I feel like they're just like, do Thor Ragnarok, but Star Wars was kind of, like, my idea of, like, what it sounded like was the pitch for that. I don't know. I want to be like, again, I want to be excited about these things, but like, they don't seem exciting to me. You know?
Yeah, there's a lot of like question marks about the future of Star Wars, kind of what we're getting next. I feel like Ahsoka was the last big thing that we kind of understood. Like, this is the next big thing, and now after this, it's like kind of, I don't know. Like, we know there's some things in the works, and we have a vague idea of what some of them are, but like, it's just very, there's not a lot of...
Like, Andor Season 2, super pumped about. Cannot wait for Andor Season 2. The Acolyte looks cool. Like, like a TV show about the Sith taking place 100 years before Phantom Menace. Like, sign me up. Like, we're probably going to see, like, young Palpatine in that. Like, that sounds cool. Like, or, like, Palpatine's master. How old
is Palpatine, do you think? Yeah.
I don't know. Like...
We're going to see Darth Plagueis the Wise?
I would think so, because, like, Darth Plagueis I was... heavily implied to be Sidious's master. Yeah. You know, so Darth Plagueis might be in... But the Acolyte might be setting up the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Not from a Jedi.
Not from a Jedi.
Yes. I would love that if the Acolyte ended up just being like the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise, the TV series. Like,
I'd watch the heck out of that. I'd watch it twice. Yeah. Come on.
I'd watch it 8 times. Yeah.
I can do it. I can do it 9 times.
I can do it 9 times. Again with the Homestar references.
I can't not. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not complaining. I'm just I'm observing is all.
Yeah. I feel like one of the things I feel like it's kind of maybe positive that's come out of this podcast is that, like, you know all my bits now. And like,
I knew most of your bits already.
I know, but like but now I know that you know all of my bits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I'm like, and then I like listened back to the episode like a couple weeks after we like recorded it. I'm like, oh yeah, I did that again. I'm just getting self-conscious. I don't know.
Yeah, no. The more time you spend speaking in front of a microphone and putting it on the internet, the more you're like, oh, this is how I talk. These are my mannerisms. Oh no.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, that's all I got.
I just want to. I want to just have like a long conversation about like future Star Wars stuff, but I don't know enough. Like, I want to like maybe next time we can like I want to look through kind of all the upcoming things that we know about and just like talk about it. So like the Acolyte, Star Wars Skeleton Crew, Tales of the Jedi Season 2, The Mandalorian Season 4.
I'm excited about Tales of the Jedi Season 2,
and Bad Batch Season 3, which will be the last season of Bad Batch.
Oh.
Which is sad, but I'm very excited for that because I love that show. So.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well.
Is it time for us to move on to our main segment, Sam?
I think so. Dude, we got a surprise appearance in this episode that I didn't know we were getting, and I'm very happy.
Okay.
You want to jump in?
Yeah. Let's do it. So
let's do it.
Yeah, this week we are talking about the Clone Wars Season 2, Episode 17, Bounty Hunters. Tim, do you want to give us the moral and the spiel?
Moral? It's you reading it this time, isn't it?
All right, it is me. Right,
Come
that's how it works.
on.
I'm a butt. Okay. The moral of today's episode is courage makes heroes, but trust builds friendship. This is a fun episode. By the way, before this episode starts, the first thing we see is In Memory of Akira Kurosawa.
Yeah, I saw that.
We will get into that. We will get into why that is. The death toll rises. As the battles intensify and threaten a growing number of Republic worlds, planets are left to survive on their own. While the Jedi struggle to fight a war on many fronts, a series of medical stations have been established as a lifeline for those in need, but the facilities are easy prey for separatist attacks. After losing contact with the medical station orbiting Felucia, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, and Ahsoka Tano are sent to investigate.
Dude, we have war crimes in the opening crawl.
Whoa.
That was bad.
Medical stations being attacked. That's no good.
You can't target hospitals. Like,
that's bad. You can't.
You can't do that.
Even war crimes are like, this is bad even for war, and war is pretty bad on its own.
Right.
You know? Okay. So the beginning it says In Memory of Akira Kurosawa, and if it was not clear, it's because this episode is very inspired by Seven Samurai. This is basically Seven Samurai in Star Wars.
Oh,
so yeah.
Okay.
And of course, also, Kurosawa's films were one of the biggest influences on George Lucas in the original trilogy.
Yeah.
So,
I kind of just assumed that, like, he passed away, like, the week before this episode dropped. But
yeah, I don't know. I need to look at when did he die? Hold on, let me click on his link. 1 second. He died in 1998. This is
Okay. So it was just like if you didn't need more of an idea that this is an homage to him, here you are.
Yeah. And this is they're very there's a lot of Star Wars content in Star Wars, like episodes of various Star Wars TV shows that are very clearly inspired by Kurosawa stuff, especially in particular Seven Samurai. Like there's that episode of The Mandalorian when they teach a whole village of people to like fight and like defend themselves against Imperials or whatever, right?
Oh,
Seven Samurai is literally about 7 samurai training a village of people to defend themselves from like bandits, and that story has been retold several times in Star Wars as well.
I love that,
and this is one of those.
I need to watch Seven Samurai because I've never seen any Kurosawa. Which
I think I already said this in a previous episode, but neither have I. I know the premise of Seven Samurai because it's been like retold so many times.
Now I do too. I can point it out now.
You do too. Yeah.
And now all of you do as well, listening at home.
Yes, I'm thinking about like maybe sometime this week I'll watch it just because I have been wanting to forever, and now this gives me an excuse to to shame myself into finally watching it.
Do it. Report back.
Yes.
We'll do it next week.
Yeah.
Right. Shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
All right. So a Jedi shuttle carrying Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Ahsoka Tano emerges from hyperspace to investigate the disappearance of a medical station orbiting over the fungi world of Felucia. I never thought of it as a fungi world.
Fungi world of Felucia.
It's full of fun guys. They immediately encounter an orbital vulture droid deployer. The vulture droids attack the shuttle and force it to crash land on Felucia. The Jedi eject from the ship once it enters the atmosphere, and once the survival pods land, they look for civilization.
Okay, survival pods, so silly.
It's Zorbs. There's Zorb soccer like things, like those like
what?
Those giant like inflatable balls that you like can like run around, like run down mountains, or like play bubble soccer or something. Like it's those.
Yeah, they eject out of their ship and are put into giant like basketballs, and they bounce around all silly.
They're like, I think they're supposed to be airbags, but like...
No, but like they're inside them.
They're beach balls.
They bounce around. Yeah. It's very silly.
It's very silly.
Yeah.
They then find a Nycillan spice farm village. It appears deserted after searching the houses. They then find a ship in a barn, and Anakin and Ahsoka discover Felucian farmers and their families in one of the houses hiding in the cellars. Anakin and Ahsoka are then surrounded by 4 heavily armed bounty hunters named Sugi, Embo, Rumi, Parmita, and Serapas. Obi-Wan then joins in, but the village elder, Cassis, persuades the bounty hunters and the Jedi to stand down and listen to his village's plea for help. Cassis tells them that they paid the bounty hunters for protection against the pirates who raid their village, demanding it as tribute. He also says that with the Jedi now there, the bounty hunters can fight the pirates off. Obi-Wan replies that he would like nothing better than to help the farmers, but their first priority was to find a ship and report the destruction of the medical base. Obi-Wan adds that doing so would only attract more separatist attention, which would be much worse than the pirates. Just then, some pirates arrive, demanding their portion of Nycillan. Anakin and Obi-Wan are surprised to see the opposing commander is none other than Hondo Naka! Hondo! Hondo's back. It's Hondo.
Always a good time to see Hondo. Love him so much. Couple things. One is if the parallels to Seven Samurai weren't already clear, there are 7 like warriors. There's the 4 bounty hunters, and then there's Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan, which makes 7.
And the village elder says like 3 times, like, there's 7 of you.
Yeah,
you guys can take it.
In case you weren't clear. Yeah. These bounty hunters are fun. I mean, there's one that like it's just like she's like a sniper or something that like gets the least screen time and is kind of the least interesting. But the others are kind of cool. The first one is like the one who speaks the most, and she's like a Dathomiri and
just like a Zabrak, but like
Zabrak.
Lady Zabrak,
lady, which is cool. And
which is what Darth Maul is, the Zabrak.
Yes, the people with horns on their heads.
Yeah.
And then my favorite bounty hunter other than Cad Bane and Boba Fett is Embo. Embo is so cool.
Which one was he?
Embo's the guy with
the hat?
Yes, he's the guy with the
so
big
cool.
like round shield for a hat.
Yeah,
and he's so cool.
He had a Captain America shield for a hat.
But yes, it's awesome. and like all the different ways he uses that, like he's like there are moments when he like takes it off and throws it and uses it like Captain America style as a weapon.
Yeah.
There's time when like he's running towards somebody who's shooting at him and he just like ducks his head down and uses it as a shield to like block blaster fire. And then in like a later episode in the future, there's a moment where like he's like at a snowy location and he takes it off his head and uses it as a snowboard to go down a mountain, and it's the coolest thing.
Wait, is he a recurring character?
He comes back later. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
Embo is, I love his design, and I love the fact that he's just like, he has this cool hat that he does everything with.
Yeah. He also was easily the most violent character in this episode, which will...
Yeah, he snapped a pirate's neck.
He snapped multiple necks in this episode.
yeah. And then the other, the last bounty hunter was Buzzsaw Louie. He was the the robot with the buzzsaw for a hand.
Buzzsaw Louie.
Which it turns out is not a robot; it's a guy in a robot suit, which is fun too. Anyway,
wait, what's Buzzsaw Louie from?
It's from the VeggieTales Christmas. Like Buzzsaw Louie's the toy. He's a toy with a buzzsaw on his hand.
Oh man,
that's what I thought whenever I see like a humanoid robot with a buzzsaw attachment. I think of Buzzsaw Louie.
I love it. Buzzsaw Louie is now the MVP of this episode.
Okay. All right. No, it's gonna be Embo. I can leave Embo's my favorite.
But also Buzzsaw Louie. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
So it's a short summary. So let's just we'll crush it. Yeah. Hondo acts friendly with the Jedi, but then attempts to buy off the bounty hunters, although they refuse, stating that they don't break deals. Obi-Wan says that he would pay the pirates to take them to Republic territory, but Hondo refuses, knowing that the Jedi would pay in Republic credits, which have no value in the Outer Rim.
No, they won't.
No, they won't. Credits will... No, they won't. Hondo tells the farmers to hurry up before the crops die. There's heavy emphasis that, like, I'm gonna kill you. It's not just like the crops aren't gonna like wilt and die. He's like, you're gonna die. So like,
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, I think what he says, he like walks up to one of the villagers and like, I better get my crops before something dies. Or,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
that's
something.
Like,
It's not the crops. It's something.
yeah,
and like he's just gonna like wink, wink, nod, nod. I'm looking at you. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, which is it's such a Hondo moment of like he's clearly like a very sinister like he's a murderer. He's a bad person, but he's fun when he does it. You know?
But at the end of the episode, we do get like one of my favorite of all time Hondo lines, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yes.
Obi-Wan then devises a plan, but Delani says that they do not have enough men. Anakin states that the villagers would have to fight too. Following this, everyone begins preparing, putting up defenses, harvesting, and training. Meanwhile, Delani furthers his doubt by pointing out that the farmers weren't soldiers and lack essential weapons for the upcoming conflict. Anakin proceeds to demonstrate that their farming tools can be used as weapons. Meanwhile, Ahsoka shows the farmers how to use slingshots against the pirates. Serapis, while cutting down a giant fungus, is nearly crushed to death, though Ahsoka is there to save him. Serapis then reveals that he is actually small and that he wears the suit to make him more intimidating. Ahsoka reassures him, giving him confidence and aiding in his esteem. Soon after, a pirate scout spies the farmers during their training. Sugi spots him and orders Embo to take care of it. He shoots the pirate's speeder, causing it to explode. He then kills him, prompting Hondo to attack. Bounty hunters and Jedi manage to withstand the onslaught, and Hondo then arrives with a tank that kills Rumi and injures Embo. In response, Anakin attacks Hondo and manages to knock him off the cliff. He begs for mercy, and Anakin pulls him up. Concluding that the effort is no longer profitable, he retreats. With the battle over, Sugi agrees to give the Jedi a ride back to the Republic.
That moment is so... and they're looking up at him on the cliff, and he's like, this effort is no longer profitable, and then runs away on his ship. It's the most Hondo moment.
Yeah, which his ship is just a flying saucer. Like, which I love. It's just like a Roswell flying saucer. Like
yeah, it's amazing.
It's so great.
We got another great line from Hondo earlier in the episode when he quotes Teddy Roosevelt. He says, as I always say, speak softly and drive a big tank.
I love Hondo so much.
Any episode with Hondo in it is automatically better. Yeah. It's just
I was watching this with Sarah and Marion, like right before Marion went to bed.
Yeah.
And first off, Sarah was like, who, like, talking about Hondo, like, who is that? It's like super famous voice actor. I'm like, yeah, it's Hondo, it's Jim Cummings. He's kind of like in everything Disney. He's like, yeah, because he's Pete from Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because Marion's favorite show right now is anything involving Mickey and Minnie Mouse. So excellent. Jim Cummings' voice is on every day at our house.
Excellent.
Yep. But yeah. And then there was another thing that I was going to say, but I forgot. But, yeah. Oh, it was as soon as Hondo came on screen, I threw my arms up in the air, rejoicing.
Yes!
Yes, it's a Hondo episode! Because I didn't read ahead. I was just like, okay, season 2, episode 17, got it. Click, boom. Yeah. I was like, oh, Hondo showed up. Nice. I love it.
Yeah, it's always a pleasant surprise. Yes. Yeah, I couldn't remember if Hondo was on this episode, but I saw, like, as soon as the pirates showed up and they looked like Hondo's pirates, I was like, oh, is Hondo on this episode? And then he shows up and I was like, yes! Yes!
Oh yeah, it's a Hondo episode. We love it.
All right, this was a fun episode. This was fun. It's a brief. It's rare these days that we get like a single like one-off self-contained Clone Wars episode, because most of the time we get arcs. I love at least 2 episodes. And this time we just got one little self-contained story, and it was nice. And we got to see like some bounty hunters that were like, obviously they were in it for themselves, but also they clearly had like a code, that they kind of lived according to. And I liked how, like, by the end of the episode, the bounty hunters had clearly kind of learned to kind of build up an appreciation for the Jedi, and they kind of built up that relationship. That's always nice whenever like, yeah, I like stories when people like start off not getting along, and then by the end they're like, you're all right. You're cool. It's good. It's always fun.
It's a good trope. Big fan.
Big fan. Well, yeah, this is a cool episode, and I now really want to watch Seven Samurai, because I've seen so many Seven Samurai inspired things. I need to watch some Kurosawa, man.
You can't not
do it. All right. Well, Sam, do you have a favorite part of this episode?
Other than the surprise of Hondo showing up, I mean, no longer profitable kind of takes the cake.
Yeah,
It's
honestly.
so funny. And like
Such a good one.
Hondo's quips are always favorite, but also Embo being
Embo's so cool.
the best.
I love him. He's also brutal and savage and
Yeah,
very bad person.
He's the scariest bounty hunter we've seen so far.
Yeah. But like, yeah, he's just so cool. I love the design of that character. I love his cool, weird hat shield weapon thing. I love a good versatile tool, you know, a good multi-purpose tool, as Alton Brown would say.
Yes.
Never get a one-purpose tool.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, I would say
I said
yeah.
2, I'm sorry.
No. That's I honestly I would probably say this is no longer profitable. It's just I mean the whole episode was fun and good.
Yeah.
And I love a good like training montage. That was cool. That was good to see that, like, you know, it's always like inspiring to see, like, you know, a group of people start from nothing and then they accomplish something together, and it's just like, yeah, you know. But yeah, pretty straightforward episode, but a lot of fun. And yeah, Hondo and Embo, my favorites.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of which, MVP Sam, which character deserves recognition for being particularly awesome this episode?
Embo. Easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the first time we see Embo.
Yeah, I didn't remember him.
Yeah, because he comes back because I remember he does the snowboarding thing, and I thought that was so cool.
That is super cool. He shield surfs.
Yeah, he does shield surf.
Yep.
He did it first. Take that, Link.
Yeah, and also they use farm equipment as weapons. Also, like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
you got to get a Lizalfo's tail attached to it. You can like whip out with it.
Yeah, and freeze things or burn things or
indeed
lightning things.
Mm-hmm. Man, such a good game. Anyway,
Indeed.
Embo MVP, Embo VP,
Embo VP.
Yes.
Yep.
Main character kills. I don't think that
No main character.
was no lost limbs.
Embo killed, but he didn't count. Yeah, kills
Sorry,
from
Embo.
bounty hunters don't count.
When are we getting Embo a Star Wars story? I want. What's this Embo movie?
Honestly, live action Embo would be like John Wick, but Star Wars.
Oh my god! Now I want that.
I know.
I immediately want that. It's just instead of guns, he uses his hat.
Yep. It's like John Wick beats like Captain America. Winter Soldier.
Yes. Oh,
would be
amazing.
great.
No, I want that. No Wilhelm screams, as far as I could tell.
Sad. Although, completely unrelated, but not entirely unrelated. Mary and I were watching Young Jedi Adventures the other day, and there are Wilhelm screams in Young Jedi Adventures.
Excellent.
Yes. I was like, I got it. That's funny. Well done.
Cool. All right. More Star Wars is better Star Wars. How does this episode make the movies and the rest of Star Wars better?
I mean, it just kind of reminds us of some of the roots of Star Wars with Akira Kurosawa, and just like because he was like George Lucas's like biggest influence, right? Like,
yeah, it was like Kurosawa and like Flash Gordon and John Campbell's Hero of a Thousand Faces. Like, yeah, it's and westerns. So yeah, like it's kind of like which like samurai movies and westerns are like very related as well. Like I feel like.
Yeah, they're like the best kind of action movies from like the 30s, 40s, and 50s that aren't war movies.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Yeah, I think because like the movie The Magnificent Seven, I think is basically like an Americanized adaptation of Seven Samurai.
Oh.
I think. I'm gonna look that up real quick just to make sure I'm not completely talking out of my ass. Yeah, so on Wikipedia, the Wikipedia page for Seven Samurai, under the remakes section, it says, its influence can be most strongly felt in the Western The Magnificent Seven, a film specifically adapted from Seven Samurai. Director John Sturges took Seven Samurai and adapted it to the Old West, with the samurai replaced by gunslingers. Many of the Magnificent Seven scenes mirror those of Seven Samurai. So yeah, that's just, many, many things that have... actually, there's a whole section here about Star Wars, actually.
Ooh.
Several elements from the Seven Samurai are also argued to have been adapted for Star Wars 1977. Plot elements of Seven Samurai are also used in the Star Wars anthology film Rogue One. The Clone Wars episode Bounty Hunters pays direct homage to Akira Kurosawa by adapting the film's plot, as does the Mandalorian episode Chapter 4 Sanctuary. So yeah, whole lot of specifically Seven Samurai influence in Star Wars.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, I gotta watch that. I gotta, it turns out, Sam, I don't know if you've heard, but this Kurosawa guy is apparently pretty good.
I guess. I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, and you haven't seen it, is the thing.
That's true, so I don't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. How does this episode make the movies and Star Wars better? Yeah, I think Embo.
Yes.
And I think, yeah, agreed about like the, reminding us more about Star Wars' roots and yeah, just a fun episode. Yeah. Just good.
Oh yeah, and Sarah would have me point out, because she was watching the episode, that that Ahsoka is really the brains of the operation. Like that beginning scene when they're fighting about it's just Anakin and Obi-Wan sass is like, guys, look, fire, which means settlement, which means people. It was like, oh yeah, all right,
yeah. Anakin's like, I'm gonna follow my feelings, so I'm gonna go this way, and Obi-Wan's like, no, I think you're wrong. We should go this way, and they're just bickering. Yep. And yeah, it was a great moment. I always like it when we get in Ahsoka gets a legitimate excuse to sass.
Yes,
and be right. It's always good.
Oh yeah. She gets more and more of those as she gets older, which is good.
So excellent. Yeah. So that ends our main segment today, but I think we have quite the listener mailbag today, Sam.
From one person, Jason.
We're grateful to Jason, our most dedicated listener and friend, for leaving so many voicemails.
Yep. For blowing up my phone all the time. Jason.
All right. Okay, let's listen to the
All right. Interesting question time. If you guys had to pick a Sith Lord to be your teacher, your evil rule of two, who would be your Sith leader? Or, breaking canon, potentially, who would be your Sith Padawan? Feel free to call me out if I am saying it wrong by using Sith Padawan, because I can't think of the proper terminology on that.
It's apprentice. Apprentice is the word you're looking for.
I would love to go possibly Darth Maul, just because learning how to fuel that hatred to survive for years. That'd be cool. But also Darth Bane or Darth Revan would be epic as well. Or I can always go to the classic answer from the childhood of Darth Vader. I might go Darth Vader. Because why not?
Cool. Well, I think what we learned today is that Jason has a lot of just untapped hatred in him that he would like to learn how to use.
Yeah.
More.
Wow, Jason. I know some good therapists. if you're looking for a therapist.
All the Jedi need therapy, and also Jason, maybe.
Jason apparently needs therapy. Oh man.
Yeah. This is a good question, though. It's an interesting question because, we don't talk as much about the Sith. We talk more about the Jedi, I feel like. So,
yeah, because I feel like, I don't know, maybe your experience with this is different, but when I was a little kid, I thought Darth Vader was the coolest. And I thought the Empire was the coolest. And now as I'm getting older, I'm like, oh no, the rebellion, way cooler. Just the Empire's the bad guys. And now seeing what the Empire was inspired by in real life and how a lot of that still exists. I don't like the Empire anymore. And similarly with I guess not as much, but the Sith too. But
I totally get the the Sith are super cool. Like,
oh yeah,
like,
they're awesome. Like Darth Vader is amazing. He's the coolest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack.
It's just a bummer that they're fascists also.
Yeah. Oops. Jack, who would be your Sith Lord of choice?
My Sith Lord Master boy.
Master.
I don't know, because like every time I think of somebody, I'm like, you know what? That would be a bummer. That would be it would be not fun to be a Sith Lord, because I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to learn to fuel my hatred and my anger. I don't want to be constantly afraid that my master is gonna like betray me or like, you know, dispose of me for someone cooler and better. Like, I don't want to, you know, it's like, it's a hard question to answer because I don't think I would actually want to be a Sith, because it just seems like a downer, at least.
Yeah. I like almost said Balin. I'm like, no, that he just did that to Shinhati. That's literally what he did.
Yeah.
Like the way of the
He's
Sith.
also not technically Sith.
I know.
Too.
Yeah. The way of the dark side is deception. And
True.
yeah. I don't need deception in my life. But
Indeed.
if I had to choose, I mean, Maul or Vader are like the two obvious choices for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, Maul feels safer because I don't know, like we didn't get to see him like really train anybody, but like he definitely, I don't know, especially now that he like when he was like a dark side user who wasn't technically a Sith, like, yeah, that's probably my choice.
Yeah, I think Maul to me is like
Rebels era Maul is.
Yeah. I think to me Maul is like the most interesting Sith Lord.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think part of that is just we've seen so much of his arc, like more than any other Sith Lord really. I mean, other than Anakin, obviously, but like, you know, it's like it's such an interesting story to see, kind of like, you know, the fall and rise and fall of this character. He's such like a tragic character, but he's also extremely intelligent and powerful, but like very emotionally driven, and it's just, yeah, it's great, and he's just a super cool designed character too, and yeah, I think probably my favorite Sith is probably Maul for those reasons, but like obviously Vader is
Darth Vader,
and, you know, he's Darth Vader, yeah. So yeah, I don't really have an answer to the question except for those things. I think they're cool, and I wouldn't want to be friends with any of them.
No. I would love to be trained by Anakin. That'd be cool.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah, but it's about as close as I get. Yeah. So I feel like if I was trained by Count Dooku, it would...
Oh, actually, you know what? Dooku. I'm choosing Dooku as the one I would want to be trained by, because I feel like he's the one I would be most likely to be able to kill, because he's old. I can save myself because he's an old man, and I can just sneak up on him while he's sleeping and stab him in the face with a lightsaber, or like, you know, slip some poison into his oatmeal or whatever he eats, into his Wheaties, his cream of wheat.
Have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis Wise?
I feel like if you were thinking about being the Sith apprentice and trying to think of which Sith master you can most easily kill, I feel like the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise being about,
you know,
an apprentice killing master.
But then would that mean that I would have to be the Emperor? Would I be Palpatine? Like,
you would have unlimited power.
True. I could survive multiple trilogies. Inexplicably.
Multiple trilogies. Somehow.
Somehow. Well, thank you for the question and other rambling, Jason.
Yep.
We always appreciate hearing your voice here on the podcast.
Yeah, I don't know how much of the Jason's voicemails actually are going to get to the final version of this podcast, but Jason left me 5.5 minutes of voicemails. Most of them were just like him being excited about the Ahsoka finale, which
understandable.
Same, but yeah, it was We listened to all 5.5 minutes, and probably just the last one made it in, is my guess. Yeah, Jason, we love you, but like, oh man, that was a lot. I love you.
Everybody needs an editor sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody needs a good editor.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Jack.
Well, yeah, it's been fun. This has been a fun episode. It's been good to hang and get to talk about Ahsoka, and yeah, I look forward to talking more in the future about, like, you know, what's up and coming next in Star Wars, because we're for the first time in a while are in this place where there's not like a clear, like, this is the next big thing and it's coming soon. Like, you know, we had, like, you know, we've had the Bad Batch, and we had the Mandalorian, and we had Book of Boba Fett, and we had Jedi Survivor came out earlier this year, and then we had Ahsoka, and now it's kind of like there's going to be a long gap until whatever the next big thing is, you know? Yeah. So
I think Skeleton Crew's coming out in January.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
But I'm not sure.
Gotcha.
Especially with the writer's strike having just ended and the actors still being on strike.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
who knows?
Who knows? Dude. Well.
All right. Well, thank you again, all of you, for joining us. If you would like to hold on, where's my spiel? If you'd like to join the discussion, leave a voicemail at 512-850-6653, and we might feature your comments, questions, corrections on the podcast, and that number is also in the description of the episode. Join us next time when we will be talking about the Clone Wars Season 2, Episodes 18 and 19, The Zillo Beast and The Zillo Beast Strikes Back. We're doing our Kaiju episodes.
Zillo Beast. Zillo Beast. Those are fun episodes.
Yeah.
It's our Godzilla episode.
Yes. I was just talking about Godzilla with some friends recently. I want to watch Shin Godzilla. Have you heard of Shin Godzilla, Sam?
Oh.
This is a movie that came out maybe like 2016 or something, but it's a fairly recent Godzilla movie. It's one of the Japanese Godzillas.
Okay.
And it is it's supposed to be very good, and it takes place in modern day Japan, and it is kind of a sort of reboot, I think, of the Japanese Godzilla series, and it focuses more on like sort of Japanese bureaucracy and like kind of the ways in which the arrival of Godzilla like affects the Japanese government and the way that people respond to it, and kind of the bureaucracy of it. And apparently it's very good.
Is like what would happen like if Godzilla actually showed up today.
Yeah, basically.
But like what actually would happen, not just like what action movie would happen. Like
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like that, cool. And also apparently it's like got the scariest Godzilla in it. He's real scary apparently.
I'll watch the trailer after we hang up. That sounds exciting.
Yes. Yeah. So Shin Godzilla.
Is it like
directed by the creator of Neon Genesis Evangelion, by the way.
Oh.
So that's a neat
I've not seen that, but I've heard of it, which means it's probably good. Because if I've heard of it, it's probably like if there's an anime I've heard of, it's probably has a dedicated fan base because I don't hear it.
Yes,
I don't see it.
It's a very dedicated fan base. Thank you all for joining us, and may the Force be with you all. Goodbye.
All right, cut the chatter. Roger.